Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! Okay, last night a very young-looking woman came in pretty late. She had a baby, maybe 4 to 6 months, and a toddler. This is probably around 1950 to 1930. She grabbed the fixings for a steak dinner for 2 and a kid's frozen dinner. She had a bottle of red wine. She doesn't look anywhere near 21, she looks more like 16. The cashier asked for ID and she doesn't have it on her. Sorry, no wine tonight. Cue the demand for a manager. I said the same thing. No ID, no wine. She started screaming at me that they just moved to this area and she had misplaced her wallet. I am ruining her Valentine's Day because her husband just got in from bringing another load of their stuff and she needs this wine. Sorry, but sub-stories won't keep me out of jail. Sorry, but sub-stories won't keep me out of jail from getting fines for me and the store. Loss of job for me and loss of liquor license for the store. I can't help you. She was pissed. It was quite obvious on her face. She paid for the food and started to walk away. She made it as far as the door. The beggar had just started walking to return the wine when she ran back to him, grabbed it and spiked it like a football after scoring the winning touchdown. She ran out the door with her cart and kids. Oh yeah, calling the cops. I got her license plate and the make of her car. I dealt with a police officer and made the report while the other closing manager finalized the closing of the store and supervised the cleanup. We left around an hour after the incident. I had to drop some stuff off at my mother-in-law's, so it took me in the opposite direction that I would normally take. Going this direction took me past a liquor store. I noticed 2 police cruisers with lights in the parking lot. One of my brother's best lifelong friends is a night manager of this liquor store. This man has been like a little brother to me for nearly 40 years, so my worried and nosy self turned in. Yep, there is his car. I parked next to it. A 3rd cruiser pulled in. It was at the same time I realized the only customer car in the lot was matching the young lady that had smashed a bottle of wine at the feet of my minor beggar, endangering him with a glass charge. The officer stepped out of his vehicle and it's the same one I had just given the report to about half an hour prior. I stepped out and called him by name before he went inside. He recognized me and took a step closer. I pointed at her car and told him I was pretty sure that was a vehicle belonging to the young woman from my report. He looked at it, nodded, and walked into the liquor store. I sent a text to my friend. Hey, call me later. I think you have called the police on someone I had to call on also. We finally connected around midnight. Yep, it was the same person. She had attempted to enter the liquor store with her children and he stopped her. In my state, you have to be 21 to enter a liquor store or smoke shop. There are no exceptions, not even for babies/small children. There are big red signs on the door stating this. She immediately told him that was ridiculous. She needed a bottle of red wine and some dumb witch at the grocery store refused to sell it to her. He said he really didn't care, but the children could not enter the store and to take them out. She started screaming about already regretting moving to this backward state, and she was just grabbing a bottle of wine whether he liked it or not. He told her nope, not from my store. And that's when she grabbed a wire rack display of mini bottles and slammed it to the floor. About 100 mini bottles hit the floor, shattering. And that's when he hit the silent alarm and immediately dispatched the police to the liquor store. She ended up being arrested for child endangerment, theft, vandalism, and destruction of property. The father/her husband could not be reached, so DCFS showed up to take the children with them. Start another story. My mom had her friends over for dinner because she hasn't seen them in like 5 years, and they have a 4-year-old kid. Also, the mom has a super big "where is the manager" look. Anyways, they come over and I eat dinner. Because I'm the nice host, I ate with my guests. Also, anytime I have anyone over, I lock my door from the outside if I'm out and inside if I'm in. And my door is damaged because I slammed it once and the part on the side came off. There isn't a big hole in the door. So I see the entitled Brat running towards my room, and I don't think anything about it because it's locked. I have my gaming PC in there, it's a laptop. That's important for later. Then I hear a door open and I'm very protective of my stuff, so I get up off the dinner table to see my door open, and I'm thinking, what the hell? How? Turns out the kid unlocked the door. How? I don't even know. He goes into my room and sees my gaming chair and immediately climbs up on it and then tries to climb up to my desk where my laptop is. I freak out and I grab him and put him on the ground, trying not to hurt him. And I say, "Kid, you cannot climb on my belongings like that." "Why not?" "Well, because it's expensive and you could break it." "So?" "Just get out." So the kid leaves the room and not 40 seconds later I hear, "Excuse me?" And I kid you not, this woman stomped to my room like Hulk, then entered very calmly with her brat. "Why won't you let my son play?" "What?" "He never said anything about playing. He was just climbing on." "I don't care. Let my son play on your computer, and you're too old to be playing anyway." "I'm 13 by the way." "Lady, all my games are 18 plus. I can't let him." "Again, I don't care. Just let him play whatever." So she left without being entitled Brat and just said screw it, I let him play and chose whatever game. I swear on my life I should have just put on cool math games because this little brat clicked on the first game he saw in Steam, which was the Forest horror survival game. And I was like, heck, not kidding, literally 5 minutes into the game he doesn't know what to do and just slams my mouse, and I was like, oh no bro. That's a no-no, and I jump in front of my laptop trying to be the shield and he literally punches me. I don't care because it didn't really hurt. Then when he realizes I won't let him play, he runs out to his mother and she excuses herself again, walks calmly to my door and shuts it quietly, and starts screaming like my mom couldn't hear it, and it was a soundproof room, but damn it, my mom was outside calling someone. Anyway, I am much taller than this entitled mother. Still important for later. So the conversation goes like this. "I thought I told you to let my son play." "Yes, I did, but..." "No but, let my son play again right now." He tried slamming my stuff, and do not interrupt me. He tried slamming my mouse and destroying it. "I don't care about your mouse." She starts unplugging the PC. "What the hell are you doing? Get out of my house." I started pulling her off while her child is trying to climb it again. I pulled the kid off as well. "How dare you touch my child, you pedophile?" She slapped me and I was in disbelief. The entitled mother then manages to pull my computer off and starts walking away till I turn around in disbelief. "What the heck do you think you're doing?" At this point my mother comes into the room. Mom grabs the laptop and says, "What is going on here?" "Your son wouldn't let my son play games on his Xbox, so we took it, and he's too old to play games anyway." "Give my son his laptop back right now, please." Me, with the biggest smirk on my face, I open my mouth and yell, "You rude, annoying Karen, get out of my house." "No!" She starts calling someone. "Yes, hello. I have a guy here who just molested my child and is verbally harassing me, and also assaulted me." Most wimpy voice ever. "It is at address X. It's a woman and a man. No weapons, no. Yes, I'm safe right now. Okay, thank you." We didn't do anything about it, but she called the police. So they came. A male and a female police officers. The male officer talking to my mother. "Excuse me, miss, were you the one who?" The entitled mother says, "Yes, I'm the one who called." "Oh my lord, they assaulted my son and me." I say, "I have no clue what she's talking about." The officer tells me, "Please wait while she's talking." The entitled mother attempts to explain everything, even how I stopped her kid from climbing on my desk, how she hit me, how I yelled at her, how I pulled her kid off my desk. The female officer says, "It sounds like you've made a pretty bad image for yourself considering it's his house and your kid was climbing on his stuff, so he had every right. And you hit him, so you're pretty much at fault if you ask me." The male officer says, "This is pretty stupid, you're right. Now, for some reason, this made the entitled mother super duper mad. Did you just call me stupid? No, ma'am, Who do you think you are? She really tried to tackle the officer, and it's the most cringy thing when she just falls off him. After a lot of back and forth and even more lies from the entitled mother, the first male officer said, "You'll be going with us since you made a report about such serious issues, just for it to end up being about you not respecting people's stuff and acting entitled." They took her and her son, and I thankfully never encountered her again after this. I went into the gas station this morning to pick up an energy shot and cigarettes. As soon as I walked in, I heard the pickering at the register, but at first it didn't sound like an actual argument because the little lady was half laughing at the old man. The assistant manager was in front of the aisle I needed to go down, so I snuck in behind him and went to grab what I needed. When I grabbed it and started to walk back, I saw this little old lady, probably in her 60s, getting close to the man, who was also probably in his late 60s to early 70s, and she was getting really mad. The assistant manager had a tablet up recording, and I was like, oh, this is real. Then I just stayed there and stared in amazement because this lady was going to town. I realized she was standing up for the very nice cashier. I heard her say, "That woman knows how to do her job. You're just a jackass." I couldn't hear what the man had said back to her, but she replied with, "I'll call the cops." This old dude says, "I am the cops. You want to call me?" I started laughing because he isn't a cop in this town, and he looks like he's way past the retirement age. Maybe he was a cop in his younger years, but who knows? When I started laughing, it must have been contagious because the assistant manager started to laugh too. The old man looked over at us and decided to just walk out. The old lady looked at me and chuckled, saying, "Oh honey, you don't have to hide from me. That guy was telling the cashier she didn't know how to do her job and was getting belligerent with her. So, I put him in his place. I can't stand people like that." I agreed with her and added that this cashier knows her job and she's one of the nicest out of all the stations in town. I went to check out and the cashier told me what happened. The lottery machine was down and she explained to him that she had to reboot it and it would take another minute before she could give him a ticket. I guess he didn't believe her. He needed that lotto ticket and he needed it now. In his mind, could she just magically make it spit a ticket out in the middle of a reboot or something? I was so happy that the lady stood up for the cashier that I bought her coffee, her newspaper, and then I made sure to book it out of there in case she was the type that wouldn't let you buy her stuff for doing something like this, aka the right thing. I told the cashier to tell her I said thank you for not being afraid to stand up for someone who works with the public and that we need more people like her. I also told the cashier she should post this story on Reddit because everyone would love to hear her crazy stories of working with the public. Years ago, I used to work in a movie theater that served food. I was a waitress. A little bit of background. The women's bathroom is right next to Theater 13. The sign is right between the doors for the bathroom and the theater. We never have issues because people can tell which is which. Theater 12 and 13 are right next to each other. The sign for Theater 12 is right between the doors for 12 and 13. This sign does confuse people since it's hard to tell which door it is referencing. One night I was working and saw some customers walk up. I greeted them and asked them what theater they were looking for. They stated they were looking for Theater 13. I pointed them to the door for Theater 13. The customers started yelling at me saying I was lying and they know because they have been here before and they know where the theaters are. I said something along the lines of, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you had spent so much time here and knew where everything was." Clearly, they knew my place of employment better than me. What was I thinking? I went off to the corner where my co-workers and I were doing paperwork and watched as they looked around very confused. They walked into Theater 12, then realized it was a wrong movie. They looked around for a few minutes more confused. They checked Theater 1 and 2. My co-workers were talking and one of them was way less pity than me, and he started to feel bad for them. I told him not to help them. I didn't feel bad since he was rude and stated he could find it himself. After 5 minutes of wandering around, the three men walked into the women's bathroom. The women started screaming at them, and I fell over laughing. My coworker couldn't take it anymore. He went over and pointed them to the same door I had earlier. This time the men were nice and thanked him. They went inside their theater. About 5 minutes later, someone in Theater 13 hit the call light. This light is labeled Press for Service. I was a server assigned to that theater. I came in and saw I was the same group. They immediately got mad and asked why I was bothering them. I showed them their help light was on. I turned the light off. This is one of the strictest rules we had to follow. Get the lights and turn off lights immediately while helping the customer. He got mad and turned it back on. He then told me that the light is what reclines a chair. I told him that chairs don't recline. He continues hitting the light, turning it on and off trying to recline the chair. He started searching for other buttons when that didn't work. Then he got really dumb and stuck both his hands in between the seat cushions. Those seats were never cleaned, and this restaurant was not very clean in general. I've had to search in those cushions for missing credit cards. They are too filthy. I saw the look of instant regret cover his face, and he removed his hands, now sticky, and held them up. I could not resist, so I said, "Well, at least you know where the bathroom is." And I walked out. Yes, I know I was unprofessional. I was treated horribly at that job. They did some very illegal stuff. I was beat down and did not care anymore. Thankfully, I found a new job. The company filed bankruptcy a couple of years ago, and I was happy to see them close down.
And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.